before you go to the MTC, they give you like that pre-MTC packet, and like I feel like I didn't take that as seriously as I should have beforehand. And so the biggest advice that I'd probably give for missionaries going in are probably really worried about like the MTC and like what to expect and everything as far as maybe like language, is to really just take that thing seriously and to really, I guess, just build like a better relationship with like the scriptures and like with your Heavenly Father and with like Preach My Gospel and all the resources before you get in the MTC, because building those relationships with those resources are going to help you a lot more in the MTC when you get there. And I'd probably just like also say with that is just, if you don't really have a testimony of the church, if maybe you're just like kind of still in the way, but to really work and focus on that when you get in there, because it's something that's really hard that I went through in the MTC, not really having a strong enough testimony of the church, and sitting in a classroom for a few weeks with somebody speaking Albanian to you was really tough. Like, and so it was really just like, for me in the MTC at least, it was like a time where I need to realize that, all right, do I really want to be here for 12 weeks learning this crazy language, going to spend 2 years of my life doing this, or is this something that's really meaningful to me, that is true to me? And so that really was a time when that was actually the first time I actually read the Book of Mormon all the way through, was in the MTC. And it was a good time just to, for me, when I really started feeling like a real relationship with my Heavenly Father. So my advice, if I could see someone like 2 months before the MTC, would be build that relationship now, like, and don't push it off. Be ready to work right from day one. I see like being around them pretty much every single day. I mean, they do have a really, really good work ethic for the most part, but there's still a lot of challenges of just thinking about home, whether it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or just like, you were like the athlete back at home and you like to talk about all that. And those are really cool stories, and that's really like who you are. You really want to bring that out, but it's also a time to really put those things aside and to really focus on the work at hand before you. And another thing is that I've noticed as missionaries putting the language as the top priority, when it is a really big priority. I don't want to downplay that at all, but it still feels like they put that above like reading the Book of Mormon or something like that. They focus so much on that little, I guess, that little detail that they just. And the thing that I try to emphasize to missionaries is that the language really is just a tool to help you accomplish your purpose, to help others to come unto Christ in the end. And for instance, like me or some other return missionary or something like that that's spent a long time learning their mission language, if I can speak Albanian to an Albanian, then perfectly fine. But if I'm not helping that person come closer to Christ, then I'm not accomplishing my purpose at all. And so I would say that's probably like one of the big things in the MTC is having your priority set of where, as far as the language goes, and remember that you're called to serve a mission in the Albanian language or whatever language you're called to speak in, and not called to learn this language, if that makes sense. I would say the biggest thing is that when you, in the MTC though, is when you're working on a language, don't be afraid of it. Be willing to make those mistakes. And don't compare yourselves to other missionaries. I think it says on page 10 of Preach My Gospel, where it says like one of the worst things you can do is compare yourself to others. I mean, it's not a race. You're not trying to beat the person next to you. You're just trying to learn the language well. And we do SYLing at the MTC. And the way I like to try to compare SYLing is like, for instance, I'm teaching someone like basketball, for instance, kind of like with the language. I can teach you a grammar principle. I'm teaching someone basketball. I'm teaching them how to shoot a basketball. They can watch me do it. They can do all that stuff. But if they don't take the time to actually shoot the basketball themselves or dribble and to learn the rules of the game and practice the rules of the game themselves, then they're not going to learn the game. And that's how it is with the language. If you're not going to take the time to practice and to put the things that you learned together, then you're never going to learn the language. If you don't speak, you're never going to learn the language. And so I would just be a go-getter when it comes to the language. Don't be afraid of it. Just attack it.